Greetings and salutations, my fellow sewer-dwelling reptiles. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey.
I feel like I'm ripping something off there. The really low thing. I feel like that's somebody's thing.
There's only so many voices and things the human voice can do.
No, I just meant like that cadence. You know what? I remembered who it was. God, what was his name? Really, you can tell our enthusiasm for Hell in a Cell 2021 is bubbling. He's a Pokemon YouTuber. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh, I'm absolutely not going to know.
No, you have no idea.
So, wrestling.
Wait! There are links in the description for you to buy shit or give me money. And, that sounds really mean and aggressive up front, but need I remind you that we've provided you minus some subtractions of crappy podcasts that no longer apply to this channel, a year's worth of material. Never mind the Twitch stream archives and all that stuff. For freezy.
Double freezy, because we don't even get paid from YouTube.
Yeah, if it weren't for the suspension removal thingy ages ago, we don't have enough subscribers now. Speaking of which, subscribe, like the video. If you like the video, please also comment, because that's better for Senor Algoritmo, respected Hispanic person who decides which YouTube videos are popular.
He's powerful and cryptic.
And if you do support us on Patreon, we will give you a shout out on the podcast. And I don't know, I'll put other stuff in there eventually. You could be like Rob. You know, by now, if I came up to you in the street, you wouldn't know who I was because you've never seen me. But if I did, and I said to you, hey, the Two Nerds Podcast, what's the name of their patron? You know, the guy who gives them money on Patreon. You would say it's Rob, and then you would probably follow it up with Rob is good. Because you know, your name could also be on the hearts and lips of everyone listening to this podcast. But for $5, in the arms of the angel.
Rob is the angel in this scenario.
Wrestling.
So, as you may be able to tell, we weren't super hot on this one, you guys. The last pay-per-view was fucking phenomenal. This one was fucking mediocre.
There's something I need to stress here. All of the action was good.
The wrestling was, for the most part, fine. I can't think of a single thing that made me go nah about the wrestling.
I would elevate to good. The wrestling, the technique, the psychology.
Yeah, most of the issues are booking related.
99% of the issues, I would say, are booking related. I even watched the WTF moments on Cultaholic. Better shit on your shit because they deserve some views. If y'all are coming to us for wrestling news, don't. Come to us for our opinions. We're not a news site. They're wonderful.
They're a news site.
And, there weren't a lot of booking ones. There weren't a lot of wrestling ones. Wow, what a botched spot.
No, the wrestling was good. Which is an unfortunate proof that, at the end of the day, you need more than work rate to make a good wrestling show. You need someone who's booking who knows what the fuck they're doing. And I think it's pretty clear at this point that WWE doesn't really seem to.
Oh, Vince knows what he's doing. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about good booking until live crowds are back. He has said as much. It's stale. We're saving the good stuff for live crowds.
You know, I almost find that respectable. Why waste it for the piped-in cheers in the Thunderdome?
Here's my only thing about that. Fair enough, but if that's the case, why Hell in a Cell? This is not Hell in a Cell's usual resting place. Hell in a Cell happens in October. That's when everybody really wants to fight in a cell.
And also, you know, it's when the spooky season is, so it matches the spooky pay-per-view. And
I don't think that's...
but it's a nice coincidence.
Just every wrestler gets an urge.
Okay.
In October to fight in a cell.
I see.
It's just genetics.
Oh.
Really glad I don't have to mug for a camera because I broke almost immediately.
Yeah, you did. But you're right. Why waste Hell in a Cell for non-live? Maybe they just didn't give a shit about it with their new fucking plastic ass looking fucking painted cell. I tried to get over it. I tried to get over it the whole night. The whole night through, I tried to stop giving a shit about the dumb red cell, and I never did. It kind of looks kind of dumb.
It doesn't bother me, but like I can understand why it would bother someone.
It's too bright.
No, and that's fair. Like, you know me, I said it last night. Man, I wish they would go back to only the ring being bright.
And it's distracting.
Yeah.
I would actually love a red cell if it was like a dark red, like a blood colored red. That would be good.
Yeah.
But it looks like someone took a candy apple Corvette and then turned it into a Hell in a Cell.
But anyway, let's go down these mediocre booking decisions one by one.
There was one good booking decision. The first match was fine.
Yeah, first match was in terms of booking, nothing to really argue about there.
Yeah, you don't. All right. So anyway, it's Bayley versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair won. That's basically the call I would have made. I love Bayley. I love Bayley's the Empress of all Karens gimmick, although her hair looks more normal now. But you don't take the title off Bianca Belair in a month. You just don't do that. That's bad. That would be a bad fucking call.
This was a good heater feud. It was well built. They had some cool effects to finish off the Thunderdome era with. Good work.
I liked it. It was probably, were it not for one specific match later, this would be pretty high up on my card. It wouldn't be my number. It's number 3, I think. Final rankings.
They had some weird spot decisions in this one.
A couple, yeah. Like, a couple weird decisions based around, like, not bad selling. Like I said, the wrestling was fine. But, like, weird choices of what to sell and when. Mm-hmm. There were a couple really good things. Like, one thing I want to shout out that was just a tiny little piece of business. After the match is over, and a lesser talent, like, say, your John Centers, would immediately recover from all injuries and celebrate. Bianca Belair kept selling her injured arm. That's good. It's little, but it's the little shit that makes the suspension of disbelief happen, you know?
Well, that's another one of those dumb fucking things that I'm scared is going to go away when we go back to the live crowd era, because you know the reason they don't do that is because Vince has decreed if you're going to pay for tickets, you want to see the pomp and circumstance. You want to see the wrestler make the same entrance they do on your video game because that's the entrance you came to see. You don't want to see them selling gimmicks. And I'm sure the same applies to victories.
I'm sure. And that's dumb as fuck.
It's stupid. I want to see a cohesive story. I don't care if they do the same thing I've seen 1,000 times.
I've seen Randy Orton raise his goddamn arm so much that I genuinely have seen it in my sleep.
I would rather say, oh man, I was there when Orton was selling that injury really well, or when he was so pissed off that he didn't do his usual big arms move.
Yeah, that's better storytelling. That's better. It's a better moment. It's a better moment for your live ticket. It's literally, it's not even just like, I feel like that's not worth caring about. I feel like that's literally the opposite of what live fans want. They want to know that they were there when X happened. And if X is completely indistinguishable from X at every other goddamn WWE show since the beginning of time, then it's not memorable anymore. But he's an old man and he'll be retired soon. That's a polite way of phrasing it. In any case, anything to say about this match?
It was good. I think we covered it all. Weird spots. The weird kendo stick, not a table thing.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot about the kendo stick, not a table.
I feel like that was supposed to be cool, but I don't know that it was.
It was very dumb looking.
Maybe if she had set up like a bunch of kendo sticks like a table.
But two, and where they broke
just two taped together,
right where the tape was, where it was clearly bendy because duct tape is bendy. It would have been cool if she'd hit her with it. The big long kendo stick,
yeah.
The extra long boy,
or like speared her with it,
like
get a lance,
get it by one end, and that lets you really make some momentum on the end.
Sure.
I mean, I can understand why the other wrestler would want to take that, because those things fucking sting.
Yeah, I've seen the aftermath of Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. So like a double length one, I would have said no to that spot too.
Next match we had was Seth Rollins and Cesaro in their feud.
That exists, I guess.
It's something for Cesaro to be doing. It's something for Seth Rollins to be doing. I think they're both doing some of their best work.
That's the thing. Actually, I think that's the problem. They're both doing their best work, and it's wasted on this gimmick. I would rather see either one doing something involving something that mattered than just Seth is very mad at Cesaro, and Cesaro is wildly contemptuous of Seth.
It's not a very good gimmick.
No, it's not. It's not a good angle. They both have really good gimmicks.
Yeah.
And this is a bad angle because Cesaro can't sell Seth Rollins as being Seth Rollins, which makes him look like either an arrogant dick, which isn't match his gimmick, or...
Yeah, it does.
No, his gimmick is very, like, hard-working guy. Like, he's a hard-working
Oh, it makes Cesaro an arrogant dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, at the end of the day, if you're in a match with Seth Rollins and you're not taking him seriously, you're either a moron or an asshole in kayfabe. Because he's Seth Rollins. He is one of their main event guys, and he's someone you should be taking very seriously. And it didn't feel at any point in the build-up to this that they showed that Cesaro was.
Well, he'd already beaten him a couple of times.
Yes,
so...
that's bad.
I mean, yeah, it's just messy booking. Like, I don't know, whatever. Seth went over. Okay.
I genuinely didn't even remember that he won.
I mean, like, it's
until
like,
I saw it on a little chart.
What matters about this match? This should be great.
Yeah, well, the wrestling was really good. Cesaro and Seth Rollins are quality talents, and they did put on a great show.
Yeah. But I should have cared.
Same. They both have really good gimmicks that I like a lot. I really love Cesaro. I really love Seth Rollins' current gimmick, and I like him more as a person since he's had some time off to relax. But...
He finally got to touch some grass.
He went out, he touched grass, and everything was better.
Let that be a lesson to you, listener.
But... I don't know, man. I just didn't give a shit. But this is like a little tiny version of a much more important version of that conversation later in the pay-per-view.
Soon later.
In any case, I genuinely don't remember this fucking match. Like, I remember bits of it. I remember this wrestling. I don't remember the finish. What was the actual finish? I don't recall.
What was the actual finish? You don't remember the actual finish?
I swear to God, I don't.
Fantastic and beautiful. First of all, congratulations, Vince McMahon. Your fairy dust has worked on someone. Secondly, it was a roll-up. Seth Rollins won on a roll-up.
Oh, you know what? Now I know why I don't remember it. Now I know why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I got 3-card Monty'd by Vince.
Yeah. So let's move into the Alexa Bliss match. She was fighting Shayna Baszler because of her haunted doll gimmick.
This is the reverse. I love that somebody's using the Firefly Funhouse stuff while Wyndham Rotunda is taking a well-deserved break. And much needed. I love that. It's a really cool gimmick. I love that Alexa Bliss is doing really fun things with it. But as I understand it, you're not a fan of the creepy haunted doll.
That's the specific part I have a problem with. Now, and this is, look, all right, the zombies was fun. Who gives a fuck? It was stupid zombies, but who cares?
It wasn't something you were supposed to take seriously. It was clearly a comedy match.
Right. Like, I mean, yeah, it was a Hollywood match. We're allowed to pretend things.
Like, the zombies thing was clearly a comedy match. Your problem with this is that they apparently intend for you to take the silly doll with its silly mouth being haunted seriously.
Well, I think the problem is twofold. Threefold. Problem the first. This gimmick is too far for me. And I say that as somebody who e-booked an e-wrestling e-federation with this kind of shit happening all the time.
Yeah.
People with supernatural powers, and like everyone was an Undertaker, and if they weren't, they were New Jack. So like this is coming for me that the creepy haunted doll is just a little too far.
See, that's the thing. I didn't actually register that as a creepy haunted doll. I registered that as a perfectly normal doll that the creepy haunted lady is very attached to.
I mean, I feel like that's splitting hairs, but
that's probably why I don't give a shit about it. Like, I'm not upset by it, because I think haunted dolls in general are stupid.
It's four things. The second. They redid the Warrior promo.
Yeah, they did.
It doesn't hold up to the least bit of scrutiny. Why are we seeing the doll?
Or the time Randy Orton's face turned into circles.
Sure. I don't...
Because it's dumb.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just, like... Here's the thing, though. If
Well, because if...
Mankind could get away with this, Alexa Bliss and fucking The Fiend are meant to be taken seriously. That's the difference for me. Like, they vomit up black ooze and they're very scary, except also here's this batshit, Photoshoppery.
I don't know. A thing in a mirror is not that bad to me.
It just, specifically in terms of wrestling, it just sort of breaks down. And thankfully there was no Eric Bischoff there to pretend like the Ultimate Warrior was not in the mirror. And it helped. It wasn't as bad.
I mean, all right. I know the answer to this is, I wouldn't book this. But, what's the other option? If we don't see the doll, Shayna Baszler just freaks out in a mirror? Just freaks out in a mirror for no reason.
Yeah, actually. And you can have, what the fuck's her partner? My brain. Nia Jax. You can have Nia Jax there going, are you okay? And she's like, the doll's in the fucking mirror. Or whatever you can say on TV. In the poopy doopy oopsie doodle mirror. Commentary. Criticism right there. What was that? After the Bayley, or during the Bayley, Bianca Belair match? And like, Michael Cole was like, she has to be thinking, gee golly gosh, what do I have to do to put her away?
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Maybe it was this match. Maybe it was not. Whatever. Just go on. Just say, damn it. Like,
was it darn or was
it? Like gosh, like something like really so neutered in the pay-per-view that brought us Piss Missile. I had to give that one a Google. Safe Search was on just in case. I don't know Pat McAfee like that. I don't know what he's into. Anyway.
Turns out it's a baseball thing, by the way.
It's a baseball thing. Anyway. Yeah, to have...
God, I fucking forgot about gee golly gosh, what do I gotta do?
Shayna Baszler...
Gee willikers, this guy just won't go down.
Freaking out about something that's not there. And Nia's like, dude, calm down. There is nothing in the mirror. It sells it more seriously.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like...
If item number 3 isn't a problem, Shayna Baszler's not a very good actor. She's not a bad actor.
She's a great pro wrestler.
Fantastic. But, like, I would have put Nia in this section of the gimmick before her.
I wouldn't have booked Shayna Baszler as Alexa Bliss's opponent.
No.
Well, not even because, of any lack on Shayna's part. I just think she's kind of a bad opponent for Alexa Bliss, specifically because Alexa Bliss is supposed to be the face, I guess. The haunted, spooky, like the terrible haunted creature who is possessed by the fiend demon that is Alexa Bliss is babyface. Near as I can tell, because purely on the strength of she's really cool. And which fair.
I mean, like, this is the first time WWE has ever done that, where they actually, like, we've seen, look at the fucking Firefly family. They got buried because they dared to get over as not exactly what Vince pictured them as.
Yeah, this is, alright, so I actually said this during the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So this is basically like a better version of The Fiend. Alexa Bliss is doing the fun, like, campy, over-the-top child host stuff, and the creepy, fucking murderous, I'm gonna stab you, evil stuff, sort of in more of a combined character than The Fiend's very clear delineation, which is not better or worse, just a choice. But more importantly, she gets to be taken seriously, and she gets to win matches, which The Fiend just didn't get to do anytime it was important. And she gets, and like, her powers are taken seriously by her competitors, and like, it's just played straight, which is really great.
Yes.
I love it. And I think it's working better because they've just put this really cool idea where Vince isn't going to see it because he doesn't watch women's wrestling. So, I'm pretty sure that's how this is getting over. I'm pretty sure that's how this Alexa gets to bleed the baby face, because she's really cool, instead of being buried for daring to get over with something that isn't goddamn Hulk Hogan's gimmick again. Because Vince isn't seeing this, because he doesn't watch women's wrestling. Because he's an asshole old man who doesn't give a shit about women's wrestling. So they can do something that's really cool and it doesn't get buried because Vince doesn't give a shit about it anyway, so they can do whatever they want.
My fourth point was basically what you said, that this is a terrible use of your Shayna Baszler. She should be beating ass somewhere.
Yeah, she's the wrong heel to put here.
Because, like, even in the match, which was a good match, I liked all angles of this match, and it was only 7 minutes.
I really love the part where Alexa Bliss possessed Nia Jax and made her slap the guy friend they have. Their Miss Elizabeth, whatever his name is. I really loved that. That was really fun for me, because then it cut to her screaming, and then it cut back to Nia Jax, and Nia Jax was also screaming.
The synchronicity was perfect.
It was perfect.
Just
whether they were
wonderfully
absolutely in sync or it was some actually really good work by Mr. Dunn, it was well done.
Yeah, it was very, very good. And I like Baszler's wrestling. I just think it's kind of weird for the Fiend Alexa Bliss to be selling small joint manipulation.
But she didn't fully, and I
no, like she
she's
came
not,
back,
but she's not fully the Fiend. She is her own thing, and that's one of the differences, is that she clearly feels pain, but they can use her evil powers to just get over it.
I'll take it. You know,
yeah, it's a cool gimmick.
I would have had pretty much not Shayna, and not a title right now. Anybody else, fucking sure.
Even like Asuka would have been better.
Yeah, Asuka. That would have been really cool. That could build to something really cool. Asuka is like some sort of Oni slaying avatar.
Yeah, wait, hold on. No, let's not fantasy book ourselves. That's too good of an idea.
Yeah, you guys
we'll
can
get
watch that
disappointed
shit
when it doesn't
on
happen.
Thursdays.
When it doesn't happen.
Speaking of, this is a great time to talk about that. Hey, if you aren't already subscribed, on Thursdays, we fantasy book. You know the thing you guys have been asking us to do since we started this podcast, basically? We have been fantasy booking in late 90s WWF through Journey of Wrestling. On Thursdays, every Thursday, we upload an episode. We're going to record one right after this. You can watch it.
And this idea, the idea that we and I both just caught the seed of, too good. Too good to make real in my head, because then I'll be disappointed when they don't do it.
Sure, and we never get to see it. By contrast, things we get to see all the time.
Oh, god damn it, it's this fucking match. This interminable goddamn Sisyphean task of a match. I, like fucking Prometheus, wake up every day, have my liver pecked out by an eagle, and then have to watch Sami Zayn fight Kevin fucking Owens, and I'll have to do that until the end of time.
My least favorite thing about this match was in the build pre-package. It seemed like he was going to fight someone else, the new General Adnan, whose name Aziz, I think. And then swerve at the last minute, it's Kevin Owens.
God, will you guys just fucking stop. Just stop. You're the worst. You're somehow more annoying than Randy Orton versus John Cena.
Because the wrestling is so good, and it's like, why are you disincentivizing me from watching a good match?
Yeah, at least John Cena and Randy Orton are mediocre. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are fucking amazing wrestlers. They do excellent work basically all the time. And I am so fucking tired of watching them wrestle that I went and made a quesadilla.
I was on my phone. I didn't really watch this match. When I looked over, it was like I had happened to look away from a Disney fireworks show and then, turned back to go, wow, that is some of the most incredible pyrotechnics I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, back to scrolling Reddit.
Because I've seen those incredible pyrotechnics. This is my 5th night at Disney, and I've done it every night, and it's the same show every fucking time, so I'm used to it. I've seen it. I know all the beats. They do the thing where they hit each other with their elbows for like 90 minutes. They do this spot. They do that spot. There's a blue thunder bomb. I've seen it. I've fucking seen it. I've seen these two people do every goddamn thing they can possibly do to each other. Short of fuck or literally kill each other. And at this point, I'm just tired of it.
You know what, though? That would be the final match. Kevin Owens, Guns Akimbo, or Sami Zayn. Either one.
See, I was thinking it was leading towards them fucking, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fine, too. If you want to release a sex tape, that's...
But, like...
I'd probably watch out of curiosity.
A and then B. A and then B.
Yes, they kill each other with guns.
And then
they
fuck.
have sex. It doesn't matter. It's fake. It's made up. There's an evil doll.
But I don't give a shit, and I should. These are great wrestlers. But you're John Cena and Randy Orton for the 2010s and now into 2020s. Also, they've been doing this longer than John and Randy ever did their bullshit, and they've wrestled a lot more times.
Oh, and this isn't even counting the indies.
Like, they're the worst version of John Cena and Randy Orton. Do you have any idea what a fucking mean thing that is to say?
I really like Sami Zayn's current gimmick. I want to see him do it with other people.
Same. I love Sami Zayn's current gimmick. I think it's a great gimmick.
Yeah.
I love Kevin Owens' current gimmick. He is fat Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's what I wish to be. he's
I
great.
kind of see it, and then the new hair and everything. Yeah.
Like,
Please don't stun me.
No promises. But I love that gimmick. I love his fucking stun everyone shirt. That's good. I love everything about them except for the fact they won't stop fucking fighting each other.
My pet theory is that nobody else will fight them, or rather, the booking team will not book them against anybody else. So they have to kind of lift each other up, like when two friends hold arms and flap to fly into the sky.
Yeah, and much like that, this is also fucking insane and tedious to watch.
Anyway, Rhea Ripley, incredible wrestler. Charlotte Flair doing her best Maleficent. They had a fight.
This match was actually like it was fine, and then it won me over right at the end.
Yeah, this was a Charlotte Flair match, and a good one where she's trying.
Yeah, well, Charlotte Flair's invested in this for some reason, and I love it because she keeps doing good stuff.
I mean, like, there's not a lot to say about this. Not even to bitch, because like any bitching we do, this is still fresh content. Charlotte Flair doesn't have the title after this because she won by disqualification.
Which, by the way, I would have made my money on DraftKings because when this match was started, I was like, "Who do you think will win?" If you were going to bet on it, you sort of made points for both sides, and I went, "Nah, smart money's on Charlotte Flair. Smart money's always on Charlotte Flair." And she won. Charlotte Flair won another goddamn pay-per-view match, but it's by disqualification, so it doesn't count. She doesn't get the title.
I suppose there's one thing to mention before you spend a little bit of time crowing about what you did like about the end of this match. The reason Rhea Ripley was disqualified is because she pulled the fucking plastic thing off the announce table and bapped Charlotte with it.
The incredibly non-damaging fucking celluloid film flappy thing.
Saran wrap thing.
Flappy thing that's on the top of the announcer's table.
A 3D drawing Michael Cole did with his magic pen.
Like, that's on top of the announcer's table, which is already... you know those 3D puzzles that were popular for a while? It's like one of those little puzzle mats you give, like, toddlers that has, like, the big soft foam puzzle pieces, but they made it into a table. I've always hated how the new version of the announce tables break apart in such clean pieces, where it's clear it's inherently gimmicked to do so. But, any case, she didn't even hit her with that. She didn't hit her head on the table. She flappy thinged her, which, by the way... If she had taken Charlotte Flair's head and hit it onto the flappy thing, that would not have been a disqualification.
Classically speaking, no. And that's always bothered me. Like, you can put your opponent through the announce table, that doesn't count as bad.
Well, I mean, like, I don't even put them through the announce table.
No,
like,
I know what you're saying. You're saying just bop her head on it.
That wouldn't have been a disqualification.
Like a baptism by table.
But like flapping it at her, like, with one hand, and it just sort of, like... flutters near her, that's a disqualification. It bothered me.
No, and it does. And it shouldn't, because that is a weapon you're striking your opponent with. But
is
for
it, though?
30 years now, it's been the case where you can, as I said, put your opponent through that announce table. That's fine. That's the announce table. It's fine. This is
allowed.
A corded ground. It's fine. And now that's stupid, and it's always been stupid, but like because it has been the established rule for so long... Seeing someone get flack for using the weakest part of it to assault their opponent, it's strange. It's
weird.
Very strange.
It's about as weird as suddenly rope breaks being a thing in a Hell in a Cell match.
Which they didn't do this pay-per-view.
No, and they called out like 4 times that was not the case.
Yeah.
Because, good, you're learning.
But anyway, the part of this match you enjoyed.
was at the very end. Rhea Ripley clearly intentionally gets herself disqualified to keep her title, and is like rolls away and has this smug look on her face. And Charlotte Flair is in the corner, sort of licking her wounds, and she turns, and because it's the Thunderdome and everything is eerily silent in there, she says something, and it's just completely audible. Like, it's not even it is just as if she was holding her fucking mic up to her face. And she says to Rhea Ripley, "You're learning, bitch," and I love it. That's great. That's game recognized game. That sold me on the whole match. That retroactively made the whole match better.
What a great segue.
Yeah.
By contrast,
let's talk about the main event.
25 minutes of some of the best action I've seen in WWE since I was a youngling. Since I was a mark. No S, mark.
Yeah, like this, the main event, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, memes aside, because I am going to meme on it later, 3, I believe, was a fucking phenomenal wrestling match. It was bell to bell, just a slobber knocker, to borrow a phrase. It was a fucking war. This was a great Hell in a Cell match. They didn't oversell the weapons. It wasn't garbage wrestling. These two dudes just battered the ever-loving fuck out of each other for 25 minutes. And then in 45 seconds, they managed to basically ruin the whole experience for me.
And I don't feel like it's ruined, but I do have problems with the finish. The finish is that MVP gets distracts Drew McIntyre as he's about to hit his Claymore kick. Bobby Lashley comes up behind him, rolls him up with a handful of pants for a victory. This would have not been so bad if you hadn't cut the main event of Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio, which went to a straight loss for Mysterio on SmackDown in Hell in a Cell from the main card. This wouldn't have been so bad if Seth Rollins versus Cesaro had not ended on a roll-up. I feel like this call in a neutral booking call situation isn't that bad.
This wouldn't have been so bad if this wasn't at least nominally the blow-off to this feud.
Sure.
This wouldn't have been so bad if you hadn't had Drew McIntyre fail to win this match because of cheaty, shenanigan-y bullshit that MVP pulled off like 3 times in this match before this. This wouldn't have been so bad if. But it was. They did all that shit, and then they still did a fucking textbook-ass Dusty Rhodes finish on the main event, which I don't care if it wasn't supposed to be the main event. It's the main event now, assholes. Rethink it. You put the actual main event on SmackDown for some reason.
I mean, if he had everything else happens the same. If instead of a roll-up, he had hit the Bobby Lashinator and pinned him for the 3.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
It would have been fine.
Fine. That is fine. Like, it's still cheaty. He's still a heel. I get it. But it's not, like, the most inside the Rhodes family fucking home. There is a box. And in that box, there is a small black leather notebook. And in this notebook, there are many kinds of bad finishes to wrestling matches. And in the very last page, written in tiny font, is this fucking finish. Because not even Dusty would pull this shit.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he did.
He did.
Still Vince McMahon licking his lips. Something else from Dusty Rhodes' corpse that Cody can't have.
This was such an amazing wrestling match, and to have it just cut off at the fucking hips at the end, right at the end. If you just, done the exact same run forward while MVP was distracting him, grabbed him in the Hurt Lock, and that was that. Fine, at least that's a blow-off to the feud. At least somebody won. At least there was a conclusive end. As it stands, as someone who has at least dabbled in trying to make a decent wrestling story, the only logical conclusion is that this goes another pay-per-view cycle, and Jesus Christ, could you not, please?
I mean, I accept if this goes another pay-per-view cycle, and you get to enjoy the fact that Drew McIntyre gets his title back in front of live fans because the man's entire reign happened in the Thunderdome. But don't book the match.
Yeah, just don't have them wrestle this time.
Yeah.
Maybe you could put another Hell in a Cell match in the main event. Like, I don't know,
But
Roman
they
Reigns
don't
could
care.
fight somebody on pay-per-view instead of
WWE's
weird
making-
on SmackDown.
WWE's making more money right now than they've made in a long fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, we're clearly wrong.
Oh, no, we're not. I mean, fans are very divided on this event. But, like, it's not like... This is the lowest fan support has been for this product. Period. They concurrently run the worst scoring Raw ratings every week. They keep resetting the low bar.
Like, it's every week they manage to outdo themselves in the worst possible way.
Yes. And yet they're still making money hand over fist. I mean, like, they don't care. Vincent Kennedy McMahon doesn't have any incentive to give a fuck.
Because he doesn't have to give a shit about live gates, so he doesn't give a shit what the fans think. He doesn't have to make them come in and buy tickets, so he found a different way to make money. And he's making a lot of money, so why would he care about what you think?
It's basically the long and short of it. Overall, we did a lot of bitching this podcast because if we didn't, there would be nothing to talk about. And a lot of stuff does bother us. But, like, overall, I would say this is a fine pay-per-view.
That's the thing. All of these bad booking decisions are weighing down what would otherwise be a fucking excellent pay-per-view.
Sure.
Because the people who do the pro wrestling, all of them showed up to work today.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Look, Shayna Baszler might not be a good actor, but she did her best.
and like, she did a great job selling how spooky it would be to be Shayna Baszler. To be the one who takes people's arms apart joint by joint and then keeps them and makes a necklace out of the bones. To be that person and to be confronted with someone who can, at her preference, just decide not to be hurt by that anymore.
To look at you and hypnotize you.
Yeah, like she did a great job selling what that would be like. Everybody who actually did the pro wrestling showed up to work today. And they are being royally disserviced by the people who are in charge of deciding what the end of the match is going to be. The boys did great, as it were. The bookers did bad.
If the truth come out and buy Money in the Bank, we get to see the WWE wrestlers as Vegeta, nude and ready to fuck you. Great.
I don't know what the fuck that meant.
Not Vegeta, Piccolo. When he takes off his heavy clothes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. You can understand.
Look, I just,
naked Vegeta ready to fuck is not really a thing that I didn't have any context for what that meant.
I just want to fuck Vegeta, man.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.